Hi, Lee here again. So in this video, I'm going to take a few minutes to discuss why me. Why would you maybe choose to work or collaborate with me? And I believe I bring a unique perspective to this work of inclusive leadership and diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And that uniqueness is born out of almost 3 decades in the IT space and my advocacy over the last 10 years since the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. And my ability to see the bigger picture and take lots of different pieces of information and connect the dots, so to speak, connecting the dots, connecting ideas, and connecting people. And some of those examples are, connecting with people's stories with different lived experiences through the acts of violence, both violence to others and violence to self, and the empathy that engenders. The research I've been doing and interviewing people, connecting with survivors, academia, gun violence prevention, political consultants, national public health experts, and then just the media I've been consuming, books, movies, articles, podcasts. And so since, that's a lot of information there. Since leaving my job, my last corporate job and moving into this space, I've participated in the Pauli Murray Center Personal Work of Racial Justice Workshop. After that, I decided I was working with some political consultants and advertising executives, and I developed a proposal for a campaign for equity and democracy. So if anybody's interested in that, let me know. Because of that, within that, there's 3 pillars of working on embedded disadvantage, both at an individual level, an organizational level, and a systemic level. So I'm doing what I can really in the first 2 spaces for individual and organizational pillars to work with people on being more inclusive, essentially, and helping people understand some of the things that I've understood since I've kind of, had my blinders removed. And as part of that, I wanted to understand what's going on in the corporate world. So as far as DEIB is concerned, so I enrolled in the Cornell Diversity and Inclusion for HR course. And that really opened my eyes up and helped me see parallels that I was really surprised to see with implementing SAP in large-scale systems softwares. And the parallels between that work, the journey that is, and the journey that diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging is. So that's really at the crux of, I think, the value I bring here, that I can relate this to something that I think people can understand from a business world into, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, which is part of our personal world and business world. I also attended a White Men's Caucus. Now that may sound a bit strange, but this is the 25th year that White Men as Full Diversity Partners has done this. It was a fantastic experience. And it really helped. The caucus itself is to develop people and helping to reduce racism, sexism, and homophobia within organizations. And it was really surprising to really kind of understand white guy culture, which I didn't really understand or was even aware of, because I think it's just the norm, right? My norm and kind of our country's norm as well. It's the default. I've also enrolled in a positive intelligence cohort and psychological safety as well. Now, as far as connecting people, inspiring friends and community to create Sandy Hook Promise, my Sodina project that I mentioned earlier to engender empathy and highlight the scale, scope, and proximity of violence, and working with different people from many different communities from all kinds of violence that they've experienced, and from communities different than mine in North Hartford, Chicago, New Orleans, Oakland. And through this, over the last couple of years, I've been really fortunate to meet people like Christina Smith at D&I Strategist, who's an organization that I do some consulting with, as well as Icarus Consulting, which has a focus more on HR and DEIB, and also Driva Solutions, which is a customer experience and contact center consulting company as well. So I work with all 3 of these organizations. And then I bring ideas to the table as well. The Sandy Hook Promise, again, the Sodina a violence prevention summit that we had developed, but unfortunately didn't get off the ground because of lack of funds. But one of the key things, as I mentioned before, with the systems work and DEIB is the idea of these functional silos of computer systems in the past that were dedicated to sales or marketing or manufacturing or finance or HR, very siloed and separate, that had to be integrated with interfaces. The SAP software and other software like it made those things horizontal and put it into a business process, more of an upstream, downstream process flow viewpoint. And that was revolutionary in the IT space. So, but what I've also noticed was in the gun violence prevention movement, it's incredibly siloed and fractured as well. There's not the collaboration in the process. It's that way in the public health field as well, which is kind of a level up from that. And it also is that way in diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. So it's a very complex system. You need many people with many different kinds of experience to bring to the table. And it's a journey, much like a software, a large system implementation is a journey. And in fact, I've written down, documented about 24 different commonalities between what it's like to implement SAP and what you need to do it successfully, and what you need to do on the other side on diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging to help people understand and relate it to something that they understand, that they're both journeys that are going to be taken for a while and probably will never end, just like the work that we each do in this space. So I hope that resonates with you. I hope you can see some value in that. And in my next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the potential ways where we can work together, and I might be able to help you in your journey as well. Thank you.